Dedicated employees are imperative for the success of any company, but they're also imperative because they define who you are. SisterLove, the oldest women-centered sexual reproductive justice organization in the southeastern United States, is proud to present InnerViews, a chance for you to meet our fam, our foot soldiers, our everyday ambassadors that transform brick and mortar into places that unapologetically focus on our commitment to the community.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me again. My name is Sybil Miller. I'm the Director of Comms for SisterLove, Inc. And I couldn't be happier to welcome you to another edition of InnerView. It is an opportunity for all of you, our external family, to meet our internal family. I like to say our shining stars, the folks that put the love in SisterLove. So today, I'm very happy to welcome Tamika English, our operations manager here at SisterLove. Welcome, Tamika.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Tamika and I work very closely together. Actually, this is one of the first times that we're not in the same dwelling because as most of you know, SisterLove has two locations here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and we have a sister location in Johannesburg. And the headquarters, which is our Baker's Ferry location, there are technically only a few of us that work out of that location. And prior to COVID, Tamika and myself and our finance director and administrator operations director all worked out of this location. But on an everyday basis, it really is and was and will be again Tamika and I. So I'm honored to be able to be in this seat. Although we are separated today, we're looking forward to when we can be working side by side again. So Tamika, I neglected, as I typically do, because I run my mouth, to give my pronouns, she, her, hers. Could you give us an introduction of yourself and
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about what you do here at SisterLove?
So I'm Tamika English and my pronouns are she, her. And I also subscribe to they, them, just in my solidarity and my allyship with everyone. So I joined SisterLove in 2018 as administrative support, and I've since evolved to the operations manager. I have a background in business administration. That's what my degree is in from Georgia State. I'm originally from Atlanta. And so coming to SisterLove with this resume of different admin, executive level support roles, it seemed like the perfect fit in terms of my background and what SisterLove was looking for at the time. And boy, am I happy that I got wind of that opening and submitted my resume, because it has been an awesome experience so far from 18 till now. It feels like it's been so much longer than that, I guess, because I'm having so much fun. But yeah, so happy to be a part of this team. So I would still be considered, I guess, one of the newbies, sort of. But you would too, Sybil. So hey.
Well, I can tell you that newbie title has long been erased.
Yeah.
And you're right. It does feel like we've worked for SisterLove longer. I too came in 2018, only a few months before you. And no, I think to those that have been around, we're the veterans now. And it's because we're always busy. It's purposeful work, but it's hard work. And as I've discovered in speaking with our other colleagues on this platform, that the work chooses you. This is absolutely not work for everyone. So we all ended up here because we were supposed to. And I noticed you said you were happy that it kind of landed at your feet. We're happy that it landed at your feet.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You had asked me a little bit about what I do at SisterLove. So obviously there's that admin support, but it's evolved to this role where I am looking at operations from a holistic standpoint. So at SisterLove, I'm looking at all of our different programs, all of our different areas. I'm looking at how they intersect, how they overlap, and how we can look at all of the moving parts as a whole to see where we have opportunities to become more efficient at what we do and to scale up in terms of the impact, doing more of what we do because what we do is so excellent. So looking at it from an operational and logistical lens, wanting to shine a light on how we can amplify it, how we can make it bigger. And that's been really, really fun, especially keeping up with all the new things that we're doing at SisterLove. So just, I'm the operations guru, I guess, and I absolutely could not do it without the support of the team.
I like to say, I like to drill down answers. So for all of you that heard that answer, she's literally the glue. She is the liaison and involved in every aspect. So that's why that role is key to our growth and our sanity. So with that, give us a little fun fact about you that no one may know about you. There's one that if you don't mention, I will.
So because I know what that is already, I guess I'll just go ahead and spill the beans.
Okay.
Outside of the work that I do with SisterLove, I also sing professionally. So I get called upon to do like private events and sometimes larger scale events. But I've been singing for as long as I could remember. And I love it so much. I'm also a songwriter. So I am doing that as well. I've been with a band before, several bands actually. So what I would call my night gig, and then I do sister during the day, but I love it so much. And I appreciate your support, Sybil. I call it a hobby and you're like, no, it's a calling. It's a gift.
I'm your pseudo manager.
Yeah, and I
appreciate I like to say
it.
I am.
So fun fact, I can sing you a pretty song.
And we might take her up on that. This is a question I've been asking all of our colleagues. The answers are similar, but not the same, if that makes sense. And I love to hear it. So it is, and you touched on it a little bit. What drew you to SisterLove? When you saw that there was an opening, why did it speak to you?
So I'm going to be completely honest and very candid here. When I found out about the position, one of the first things I did was I went to the website. And all of these beautiful brown faces popped up everywhere with smiles and glory upon them. And I'm like, what is this place? And I'm looking through every page, and excuse my expression, I'm just being very candid here. I'm looking for the white people. I'm looking for the men. And I'm like, they all look like me. What is this? And I was so intrigued just by the fact that every, thing I came across was a reflection of me, that it just said to me, I have to go and see what this is about. I have to know more about my potential role with this lovely team. I mean, and then on top of, the beautiful website and the pictures, there were the small details like the African print and the African symbols. And I'm like, oh my God, you just don't get that, that experience every day when you are looking to take on a new role and circulating your resume, all those formalities.
Yeah.
So that's what drew me to SisterLove, that website. 100%.
Well, I concur with you. That was my first project when I joined SisterLove. Websites replace business cards. You can get to them instantly, and it should resonate. So it should describe who you are so that it resonates with your public. So since we're on that topic, I want to give a shout out to Katie Beltran and to Bryson Edwards for making that possible and continuing to make that possible. we're very proud of our website, and we get a lot of compliments on it because it does capture the essence of sister love.
Well, it sounds like the answer to my question is you drew me to Sister Love. You and Bryson and you and Katie, y'all did this. I'm here.
We just listened to our colleagues, and we listened and read about the history. Obviously Sister Love was well in operation before we got here, and we wanted to honor that, and to have the visuals speak as loud as the work. And I think that's one of the things that I love about my job the most, because communications is not just what you say, it's how you are represented. And we're very proud, of course, of the reputation. Long before we got here, we want to make sure that we do it justice every day. So that actually is everyone, all of us do that, I think, through our work. So thank you for that, though.
Yeah, it was beautifully done. Beautifully done.
What would you consider, Tamika, to be your most profound experience since being with Sister Love, if you can drill it down? I know we've talked. Like I said, I had the luxury of working with you, so I know some of them, but what would you say would be the most profound?
So for me, I've never been in a setting where it was a professional setting. It's, what I consider to be my livelihood, and I could show up authentically 100% myself. So I remember my first staff meeting, Sister Love, and I remember sitting there like, okay, is this a meeting or are we just having fun? I didn't know how to approach it, because I'm new. I want to make a good impression, but these women are showing up and they're just being so authentically themselves. I mean, literally letting it all hang out, bringing it all to the table. And of course, I've been taught to leave all of that at the door. You leave all this at the door when you come to work. And here I am at work, and I'm having this experience where people are being authentically angry, authentically exhausted, authentically up to here with current projects or demands. And they were voicing it, and there were constructive conversations around solutions. And I'm like, what is this? It can't be real. It felt more like, I don't know if you know the term lemon squeeze, when you get with your girlfriends and you talk about the things that weren't necessarily easy, but
it's like the she circle is kind of how I've heard it described. And it, what, this is so dating me, but so be it. So do the gray hair. So whatever. But the movie Jungle Fever.
Okay.
Spike Lee had a scene in that movie where the sisters were getting around, and I think the topic was our Black men dating white women.
Yep.
And one of the things I remember being like so intrigued with, like, wow, they nailed it in that script. And then I later found out he wrote no script.
He just let them talk.
It was say, like, here's the topic, you guys go with it. And that's why it felt so authentic, because it was. And to your point, yes, that is who we are in our meetings, or when we even it's carried over virtually, because we've had to be virtual now for almost 2 years, if you can believe that. And that's, as long as we're respectful, people kind of give you the grace to be you. If you're frustrated, obviously we don't deal with a lot of topics that are warm and fuzzy. A lot of what we deal with and try to find solutions for or fight for others are things that make you mad.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't even be in existence. And so when we do get together, and we're not for profit, so which means we don't have corporate money like the Coca-Colas of the world. So we have to do it well with less. Those things are frustrating.
The reason it was so profound for me, because it set me up, Sybil, where no matter where I go from SisterLove, I'm going to feel free to show up authentically myself because I
It's
feel
true.
the authority to do that now.
Nice, nice. Very nice word.
Yep, that's
Authority
why
to
it was
do
so
that.
profound. Yep.
Well, because you're to your point, you know, when you're coming from a corporate background or just a background outside of SisterLove, you know, it could be another not-for-profit that models itself more after the boardroom. It feels like you're not supposed to do it. So it does take a minute, and then, but it's wonderful to be yourself and then still conduct business and find solutions
That's
and
right.
do it as a team and walk out the door and know that basically it was a no judgment zone. And that is what we do very well. So we have brothers within our sisters at
We do.
SisterLove. And what I love about them, Bryson Edwards included, John, John's last name, just slipped up.
Crawford.
How could I forget? John Crawford. They ground us pretty much because they're our bookends. That's what I call them.
Yep.
Our
And then
bookends.
our pseudo male employees like will settle and Kyle.
Whether he wants to be or not. And then of course our hands-on consultant, who I'm sure he didn't think he'd be this much needed or have his hands on so much, Tony DiMartino. We actually look for them when we're in certain settings, and what I admire about them, you can tell that they were around or grew up with women in their families because they know just when to come in.
It's true.
And
Rain
it's awesome.
a little bit.
That's right. And so all together, I love our team, and quoting our esteemed leader, Dazon Dixon Jallo, but we like to pronounce it Diallo, so we can call her DDD. All teams all the time.
That's right.
And that's kind of how we function. And I wouldn't really want to do this, for anyone else. So
Absolutely. My sentiments exactly.
what's your superhero power?
Oh, that's such a good question. I would say my superhero power is to find the kindness. I
would agree with that.
Yeah, I like to look for that is good and kind. And I look for it in places where it's difficult to find. I look for it in people and circumstances where it's difficult to find. But I know for sure that if you look hard enough, you can find the joy, and you can find the kindness, and you can find the love in all people and all circumstances, no matter what it looks like initially, and that takes effort, especially when you're not feeling kind and you're not feeling joy. But I find myself often, even in the midst of that, stopping for a moment to say, where's your focus? What are you looking for? What do you want to get out of this? Because what you're looking for, you will find. And so I make it a point to always look for the joy and look for the kind places in people and circumstances.
I've seen you actually diffuse situations in your own unique way. So, I mean, I kind of chuckle. I think it's funny. We say things like, oh, she Tamika them, which is giving credit to how you were able to do that. And your voice is so nice and so sweet. And so people tend to listen to that. So
that was an excellent question. Thank you for asking that.
I love that question. Sometimes people have to think about it because you don't really think about
That's
what
right.
you.
Yeah.
So you know what we should do one day, maybe in a staff meeting, we should let other people tell us what they think our shiro power is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you might be surprised. It might be something that you don't think that you have. So that's something I'll mark down first.
That would be so fun to do.
I think it'd be fun.
So fun to do, especially for each other. Because I think wonderful things about my colleagues. Yep, that would be awesome.
When the time comes and it's time for the journey to change, sometimes we're in control of that and sometimes we're not.
Yeah.
What is it you want to be remembered for most with your, here at SisterLove?
At SisterLove?
Correct.
I would actually be most satisfied if people looked at policies or processes that were in place that make their jobs easier at SisterLove. Like for me, if I walk away and I leave a system or a process in place that makes it easier for my colleagues to accomplish Sister Love's mission, I would be most satisfied.
And that's not to be taken for granted, because one of the things you and I have spoken about, and with other colleagues, of course, is that people sometimes think that when you say you work for a not-for-profit, that there are no processes and that you are like happy-go-lucky and, oh, it'll all just work out. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
So far.
You absolutely have to have those things in place to have staying power. What good are you if you're only here for a fleeting moment? Sister Love has been around for 32 years, and I know most of us that have come on and come along during that time, we look at it as a responsibility and a duty to make sure that they have another 32 or another 52 or another
That's
62 to 100 years. And you don't do that without processes and policies and basically keeping up with the times. And that's a wonderful thing to ascribe to.
Absolutely. Thank you. I feel like at some point, you know, Sister Love would have been instrumental in completely eradicating HIV, the epidemic of HIV, like really putting an end to it. But the work that we do essentially has, you know, a lifetime agenda, if you will, in terms of our advocacy for human rights and women's empowerment, and the list goes on and on. And while we'll knock some of those things off, the idea is we have to keep going. And in order for us to keep going, we have to have a way forward, a documented and concrete way forward, you know, because people fall off. They, you know, they go on vacation, they quit, they find other opportunities, they die, you know, things just happen. But the work that Sister Love does needs to be able to sustain itself, and the processes and systems will make sure that that's attained.
That's true. The work is bigger than us.
Than us, exactly.
Show up with that and you get it.
Way bigger than us, that's right.
Before we close, here's my absolute favorite question that I ask everyone. What is your favorite quote or saying that best defines or speaks to you?
Okay. Gosh, Sybil, you have really good questions. You're definitely a journalist.
And it's even more fun because I don't have to answer them.
So usually my go-to when it comes to quoting is Maya Angelou. She's one of my favorite orators and literary icons. But today I'm going to go to Coco Chanel. And Coco Chanel said her hair is about to change her life. And I cut my hair over a year ago. And I've just been with that quote kind of in my spirit and in my purview. So I'm going to quote Coco Chanel today. And the reason that I'm there is because, you know, it takes a lot to shave or cut off your glory, your crown and your
It does.
But I think that it's a statement to say, it doesn't matter. I'm still here. I still have work to do. And because I did it, you should know that I'm about to do some shit. Excuse my expression. So that's where I'm at today. You know, I am determined to push forward for what is more, what is expansive. And it's not about the hair, it's about the attitude.
Absolutely right. I love that quote because it means a lot, especially to Black women. You know how we are about our hair, and I'm loving this younger generation, younger than me, of course, that is expressive and happy to be natural or not, but it's up to them. And they've got an agenda, and it's their agenda. It's not how someone else tells you or seems to dictate what beauty is for you. They're dictating what beauty is to them. And it's showing in the work. I'm very proud to work alongside Black women and those that support us. And I'm equally happy that SisterLove truly is an intergenerational organization.
Yep.
And
we got some extraordinary people on this team. I was so surprised when you said you were interviewing me. I'm like, but what about so and so and so and so? And I mean, we just have such an extraordinary team. So
We
I'm
do.
an honor to be here with you at the same time. And then I'm lifting them up because we got a powerhouse of women that make this work every day, including
But
Sybil.
you know, everybody's important. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to do this series, to get the interview of each of us to show what we bring and how it makes us such an incredible team. So yeah, everybody's going to be on here and I get to do it.
This was fun. Thank you.
I'm so happy and
inviting
give
me.
so much appreciation love to you for doing it, Tamika. I really am. I know how busy you are, and I know how you were reluctant to do it. So I had to throw you in, and I'm glad I did that. I
Well,
never close a broadcast without thanking the silent partner always that makes all of this type of stuff, not just this series, but every single thing you see on social media and all the podcasts and all the things you may not see. As it relates to anything technical, we are very blessed to have Bryson Edwards,
Yes.
who is standing by always. But I also I mentioned his name earlier when we talked about the website. I just kind of want to clarify that Bryson started off as one of our co-designers, co-webmasters for our website. If you don't know it, it's, you know, sisterlove.org. Go to it. You'll be as impressed as we are. We later persuaded him to come aboard as our very first digital strategist. So he's everywhere, and we're grateful for that. So just want to let everyone,
probably dependent.
yeah, overly. How about overly dependent?
Yeah, we really appreciate
and we beg him not to leave. So, for a myriad of reasons. And the top of that is because he's so great to work with. So that's never, ever taken for granted. If you've worked a couple jobs, you know what I mean by that. So without further ado, I'm gonna say our heartfelt thank you again to Tamika and sign off, and look forward to having another episode of Interviews, an opportunity for you to understand why we have so much success here at SisterLove. It's the people. Take care and thank you for joining.
Bye now.
Bye.